Yes, to the rulers of ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, you have to be extremely careful not to present yourselves as the enemy of progress in West Africa and Africa in general. Mr. Emmanuel Macron, President of France, who appear to be pushing you guys around, making you guys jump like little frogs, all in the name of trying to um, militarily deal with Niger Republic, a symbol of African liberation today. You are advised to be extremely careful because this Niger coup, unfortunate coup, which did not come from nothing, it came from the common trend of things in Africa, where so-called democratic governments have no solid institutions, especially in Nigeria, currently leading ECOWAS. Institutions that don't understand truth, honesty, cannot play well and succeed in the new world, even though many in the new world, especially in the West, the governments are not sincere as well. What they're doing is dealing, twisting hands, using threats, and so on and so forth. They can blow you up, blow your country up when it is in their best interest. But you, ECOWAS, you have to be careful, ECOWAS leaders, because you were nowhere to be found in recent years. All right? I mean, you wouldn't be beating drums to say you're somewhere, but your handwork would be seen by all. There will be peace. Since you have a force, a military force, a standby force, there will be security through security cooperation. Okay? There will be safety. Public safety is very important. But it is evident under your watch, West Africa has been in tatters. All right? Not only have you failed to deliver your mandate as the institution dealing with the economic success, economic cooperation in West Africa. Not only have you failed in that aspect, you've also failed woefully in security, as I said earlier. You failed woefully in collective peace because of the evidence. Therefore, be mindful. Don't let this young man that most of you are father to. I mean, I understand the leadership, metrics in terms of, who can be president in different countries. I mean, all ages of the presidents are not the same, but age comes with, or is supposed to come with wisdom. So, if Tinubu can be the father of Emmanuel Macron, and what's his name, Mr. Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire, if two of you and several others are old enough to be the father of Emmanuel Macron, President of France, then nature dictates that you should tread with care. You should ask yourselves questions and ask him, Emmanuel, and whoever is pushing you, the American government, ask them questions. Ask them what their interests are in Africa, that they want you to go and bomb, destroy a small African country. We will not sit by and wait for you to do that with the support from other neighboring countries, which have already pledged support. As news have it just recently, although Nigeria, under the illegitimate man by the name Jagaban Tinubu, who took electricity from Niger, even though they have an agreement. There is an agreement, a 1964 agreement, and subsequent reviews of that agreement, which allowed Nigeria to build the dam in the River Niger and supply electricity to Niger Republic and other surrounding countries. But, that kind of, the agreement was made in such a way that Niger would not build its own dam. But imagine what's happening now. No wonder Niger is reported to have been trying to build dam, after a while, because of high tariffs from Nigeria. And so this Mr. Jagaban cut the electricity off without considering the people. This old man is just thinking like the slave masters and the colonial masters and the exploiters. He just do things, impose sanctions, cut things off without even thinking about the people. Even a lot of Nigerians in northern Nigeria, they go back and forth in Niger Republic. They are brothers and sisters. But you do it without thinking. The same way you announce the removal of subsidy without even having a plan, not even a single plan. The same way you took 800 million and shared it, money that is loan, and you have to pay high interest on. You did not invest it, you shared it. Who does that? And then you took this light from these people, but now, guess what? Algeria already pledging to give them free electricity. That means Africans are coming together. That means Africans are rallying around the Niger Republic, because it is more like a symbol of African liberation right now from colonial master, colonial France, because colonialism was not gone, imperialism was not gone. It is here, because several African countries are still being economically enslaved by France. If not that Niger break away and Burkina Faso and Mali, right? 14 African countries under your watch were being enslaved economically by France. And instead of you to work together, think of how to liberate them from that kind of quagmire, that kind of economic slavery, you are here listening to a young man that you are old enough to be his father. All right? And he's pushing you around like a little pendulum bulb. All right? You better understand how much you have failed the people of Africa. You better understand and know that no European country will invade another European country because of so-called democracy. Where was democracy when you, Tinubu, Buhari, and INEC chairman did that civilian coup d'etat, in the 2023 presidential election that you never won, but you were declared 4 a.m. in the morning, and the case is still in court. You were not supposed to be to be put in office. Why should you be put in office and you're already there and then they're going through court? How does that make sense? That's why from the beginning I knew those who created that so-called election tribunal, they knew what they were doing. They were not seeking justice. They designed it to suit their interest, to suit their interest, suit their purpose, right? Because once you're already sworn in, you have state power. You can bully, you can manipulate, you can do whatever, especially people like you, men of the underworld like you, right? You can bully these lawyers, or call it judges in the tribunal. And by the way, what kind of tribunal don't even have the mandate, the force to force the INEC chairman to come to the tribunal, or force the commission to release documents meant for the case? What kind of tribunal is that? That doesn't even have power. So what are you guys doing in the first place? That is not to say that Tinubu might not be flushed out, because the evidence is there. But it hasn't happened in Nigeria. It can happen if they summon the courage, just like the people of Niger summoned the courage to chase France out. That's what Africans are supposed to be doing. Henceforth, there's no reason France should be able to economically enslave 14 African countries in 2023. There's no reason, right? Exploiting them, taking their uranium, taking their gold, and left them with over 20 million tons of radioactive waste that came from the extraction of uranium. All right, 50 years period of extraction, and then it's a heap of radioactive waste that threatens the life of the citizens of Niger. And so instead of ECOWAS to work with Nigerians, instead of Nigeria, Mr. Jagaban, to look into the effects before making all those threats that were made, looking at the consequences, how it's going to even affect Nigerians, considering the border states, about 7 states that share common boundary. And it was these people, it was these representatives in the Senate who opposed, the approval of the deployment of Nigerian troops. Irrespective, Mr. Jagaban, Mr. Illegitimacy, who is trying to legitimize himself by, fronting this military intervention. Because without Nigeria leading the intervention, no other country involved has what it takes. So if the Nigerian Senate refuse approval, what's given this Mr. Trainwreck that I called him from the beginning the authority to think he can deploy Nigerian troops? If he's not the train wreck that I called him, he's not even thinking, he's not even reasoning, he's just sleeping while working. All right? It's so shameful that this kind of people keep coming on global stage, with the name leaders of Africa, even in the 21st century. Imagine Mr. Ouattara, who has been in office since 2010. Huh? And then he's saying, oh, he considered that the action of the coup plot as terrorism. What is your action? You have been in office almost 13 years now. Is it your father's property? The military in Niger, they have a purpose. They are a liberation force, and we have seen it. And much of Africa is behind them. And even you, ECOWAS, you are divided. So why not take heed? Why not shun Emmanuel Macron and whoever is pushing you, America? Why not shun them? Why not tell them enough? The time is now for Africa to stand up and say no to exploitation, to imperialism. Imagine America having a military base there in Niger and a drone base. What interest? What concern America over there, all the way in Niger and other African countries where it has military bases? And then they're telling you about democracy because you don't think, you don't have the nerves to stand up. You're accepting it wholesale without question. You have failed woefully, ECOWAS. So remain the failure you are, but only do yourself the favor not to invade Niger, because you're not going to get it easily. Even though America and France, others of Europe, the same people who enslaved and colonized us and still exploiting us today and have a grand design not to let us, breathe. You're dancing to their dictate. And then you call yourself African leaders. Why the African child suffer and die in pain, in penury, in squalor, because you guys have access to state money. So how does it matter? But a day shall come. African revolution is possible. And as I said, it is in the now. Don't get caught up. Thank you. Ben Ikari.